SEC versus Ripple case update. This could be the catalyst that takes us to price targets never seen before in the XRP community. Hello and welcome back to Good Evening Crypto, your favorite crypto-related content channel. And today we're going to be breaking down a case update between the SEC and Ripple. Now, the XRP community has been going through this lawsuit since December of 2020. Allegations that Ripple was offering an unregistered security have already been lost in a court of law. Now we're going through a process of a long drawn-out legal battle that could potentially lead to a catalyst taking us to a double-digit XRP. So before we get into this thing, I'd love to see ones underneath the video if you believe we see a double-digit XRP in 2025. Twos if you think it just simply does not happen. But today, we're going to show you a brand new update from John DEATON, where he's telling us that when this market structure bill is passed in August, we'll never have to talk about the Ripple versus SEC case again. Here it is.
Market structure bill. So in other words, as long as they say this is what a digital security is, right, this is what a digital commodity is, the digital securities are these definitions governed by the SEC, and it's specific enough to see, oh, XRP clearly falls under digital commodity. Right. That's the law of the land as signed by Congress.
What's interesting about that quote as well is that when Brad Garlinghouse was asked at XRP Vegas, does market cap matter for XRP? He said he finds it to be more similar to a commodity, such as oil. Now, is XRP the new oil for the future of finance? It could be, but let's listen to what John DEATON has to say, and then we'll break it down.
And signed by the president, then you're right.
Then the president of the court ruling wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't matter because that's the new law. It would sort of become a legislative Ripple test, right?
Yeah, right.
Basically saying, okay, the Howey test from 1946 is no longer the law of the land. This statute by Congress to say it's the market structures bill where it lays out all those things, that's the new law of the land.
Last question. That is the most bullish statement we've heard in the United States crypto markets for a very long time in the XRP community. But we're going to show you a couple of dates that our listeners should also be aware of. The June 16th deadline is a key deadline, according to crypto lawyer Fred Rispoli. Judge Torres has already turned down a joint request from both the SEC and Ripple to create an injunction here, removing the $125 million fine and limiting that to only $50 million. Ripple would also be open to operate in the United States going forward, selling XRP directly to institutions. However, the judge said both parties filed the request under the wrong rule. She said that even if the jurisdiction came back to her court, she would still deny the request. And since then, both Ripple and the SEC have been silent and are yet to refile a corrected motion. Now, here's a direct statement from Fred Rispoli. He said 20 days later, no refile yet by the SEC and Ripple in district court. And the June 16th deadline for the status update in the second court looms large. Now, reminding you guys, that is only 7 days from today when this video was published. Now, Rispoli continues, this date is very important. If there's no new motion on Judge Torres' desk by June 16th, only 7 days from today, the Second Circuit will move forward and pass on her original rejection. This means that the appeal process could restart completely. But if a valid motion is pending before her by this date, the court might delay the case for another 60 days. Live chat, ones if you think the SEC and Ripple get this filed, twos if you think they missed the deadline and this goes on to the Second Circuit. I'm going to show you what Brad Garlinghouse had to say in regards to this, because even if Judge Torres brings this to the Second Circuit, he said, make no mistake about it, Ripple is in the driver's seat.
Torres made a ruling that XRP in and of itself was not a security. That's almost a verbatim quote. The SEC filed an appeal about 8 months ago, and what they've now agreed is they're going to drop that appeal. We still have a cross appeal pending, and so we go from being defendant really to plaintiff. So we now are in the driver's seat to determine how we want to proceed.
Are you dropping it?
We're going to see. It feels a lot better to be on the offense than the defense. You know, 4 years, we spent over $150 million defending that case, not just for Ripple, but for the whole industry. I think it was really important that this SEC, the Gensler SEC, was really trying to bully and continue lawfare, filing lawsuits against crypto companies. That's over now, and I think that's great for the U.S. crypto industry, and frankly, great for crypto at large.
I mean,
and it's great for the number one digital asset, which is XRP, guys. Now, I'd love to hear, do you think this case ends sometime soon? I believe they're going to file by that June 16th deadline. and we will have another 60-day extension for the lawsuit. But what's regardless of what you believe, the XRP price charts are also showing us very optimistic signs, and that's on the back of several headlines, both from the NASDAQ and from another grayscale basket fund, which was just filed yesterday. So for anybody who often watches this channel, we covered this latest article showing you that the NASDAQ has filed to officially add XRP, Solana, Cardano, and Stellar to their crypto price index. This is a massive moment validating this asset class for Wall Street investors. And it's also going to be very easy for ETFs, once approved, to tap into these products and use them for accurate pricing. Now, on the back of that, we are seeing several baskets of ETFs, which hold not only Bitcoin, not only Ethereum, but Solana, XRP, and Cardano being filed as well. This is an example of a grayscale filing that happened only 4 days ago on June 5th. This new filing would consist 80% of Bitcoin, 12% of Ethereum, 3% Solana, 5% XRP, and 1% Cardano at the time of this report. So with the price charts flashing bullish sentiment, the lawsuit coming to an end, market structure bill on the precipice of being implemented here inside the United States, and of course, all of these new ETF products ready to be approved, my belief is we break all-time high this summer, and where we go from there is anyone's guess. But if you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, subscribe to the Good Evening channel, and be sure to leave your 2025 peak price projection for XRP underneath this video. But we appreciate you, and we'll see you all in the next one.